Officially welcome to the E&T All-Staff Virtual Meeting for April. We are in Zoom webinar now instead of Zoom meeting, so we'll get used to this next time. But the Q&A process is updated. It's actually better than Zoom meeting. Instead of having to send a chat to Steve Wang by a certain time period during a Zoom meeting, we're in Zoom webinar, which means there's a real Q&A function in this. So if you look on your menu bar in Zoom right now, you'll see a Q&A icon, the little chat bubbles. You can submit your questions through there. You can submit it with your name, or you can submit it anonymously, whichever you wish. And if you see someone has already asked a question that you were going to ask, you can just give it a thumbs up, click the like button, and that'll upvote the question and get it to the top of the list in case there's a bunch of questions that come in. So just a reminder again, don't send questions through the chat, use the Q&A function, and that'll help us sort the questions and be able to answer them better. You guys all have these links for all the sites that you should have bookmarked for staying up to date. And I will turn it over to Renee now for her opening remarks.
Okay, so thank you and hello everyone. I'm sorry for the delay, but I had a hard time getting in as a panelist today. We're doing a new technology. Welcome to the E&T All-Staff Meeting. I hope you're doing well. I know that we'll be providing organizational operational updates during today's meeting and also answering your questions. One thing that I just wanted to mention is that there's been a lot of questions that have come about what's going to happen with the reopening. And I will tell you that that is something that is even being debated at senior management, and there will be more information coming hopefully in the next week or 10 days. So I know that a lot of people have a lot of anxiety about when will we come back, how will we come back, etc. I'd like to share some important news with you because I will not be coming back to join you in person at E&T. I've been at UCLA for many years, starting with graduate school, and this year I reached a milestone of 40 years of service with the university. So effective July 1st, I will be retiring. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be your executive director, and I'm very grateful to have worked with such a wonderful group of people who are so dedicated and have done so much for the campus. We've achieved a great deal together for UCLA, including during this past year, maybe I should say especially during this past year, with all the efforts we've made to help the campus with the COVID response. And all of you should be very proud of these accomplishments. So Commuter and Parking Services Director Lisa Kerbling will step in as interim executive director, and we should have a replacement for my position before the start of fall quarter. The senior management team will do its best to keep you updated as we move through the transition, and we'll do our very best to make the transition a seamless one. So now I'd like to turn it over to Veronica Martinez for updates. Thank you.
Thanks, Renee. Congratulations, by the way, on a big decision, and it's well-deserved. Hi, everyone. Hope you and your loved ones are doing well. I just have a few updates. On April 1st, the university provided information about the 2021 Employee Paid Sick Leave, also known as EPSL. This program is similar to the 2020 EPSL and includes 4 additional reasons that include testing, waiting for results, obtaining an immunization, and certain conditions relating to obtaining an immunization. Full-time employees may take up to 80 hours. Part-time employees may take up to a 2-week equivalent. Hours are available for use up to September 30th. The form is available through the link in your screen and will be available when this presentation is shared after today's meeting and on the E&T intranet. The UC Paid Administrative Leave, also known as UC PAL, remains available for specific COVID-related reasons, and the last day to use the time is June 30th, 2021. If you are in need of a leave of absence for yourself or to care for a family member with a serious health condition, please speak with your supervisor. Additional information about COVID-related leaves of absence is available through the link on your screen and on the intranet. On April 22nd, UC announced a proposed policy to require all UC faculty, staff, academic appointees, and students be vaccinated beginning fall 2021. Currently, anyone 16 years and older is eligible to be vaccinated in the US. UCLA Health patients can schedule their free vaccine appointment through the My UCLA Health portal. You can also book an appointment through the California MyTurn site or through another vaccine provider if they're available. The COVID-19 Response and Recovery Task Force sent out a communication on March 29th about the new state-mandated COVID-19 prevention training. It is required of all state of California employees, which includes UC employees. The training is approximately 15 minutes and must be completed prior to returning to on-site work or by June 30th, whichever comes first. Training can be accessed through the learning management system. If you're having trouble accessing the training module, please let your supervisor know. The voluntary separation program is still open to submit an application, but don't wait. The last day to apply is this Friday, April 30th. This program provides employees the option to resign from university employment in exchange for severance pay. The amount of pay is based on an employee's 4 years of full-time equivalent service time. Eligible employees were sent an email with information about the program. The application link is on your screen and also available on the intranet. Next is Jonah Lamas with information about the UCLA Administrative Equity Council.
Thanks so much, Veronica, and good morning, everyone. Yeah, today I'll be talking to you a bit about UCLA Administration's Equity Council. So staff equity advisors will have a focus on recruitment and retention of a diverse workforce while communicating equity, diversity, and inclusion EDI best practices and professional development opportunities. This equity advisors will be combining self-awareness, communication, and efforts to promote innovation and productive collaboration within the various organizations we're a part of and working with. And we'll be working closely with campus community members at all levels to promote a more diverse and inclusive environment. This is the first year of the council, so the potential topics that you see on screen represent items that equity advisors may be introduced to during our first year of service. And service spans about a year, and then with a possibility for extension to another one. We'll be equipped with a knowledge base on EDI principles, particularly the 4 here in the blue boxes on the screen. So what does this mean for you? EDI council members will be coordinating trainings, available activities, and communications to UCLA administration about EDI efforts that we're pursuing. So if you have any EDI topics you'd like to discuss, please feel free to reach out to Veronica or I, as will be the EDI council members representing events and transportation during this year. We meet with the council monthly, and any input on EDI is greatly appreciated. So I'm going to pass it over to Gina Beery for her updates. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. All right, great. Looks like we're almost up and running. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm Gina with Training and Organizational Development, and I just have some updates for you about some training and things that are going on. Renee, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Sad for us, but as Veronica said, well deserved. Let's see. So the first thing that I want to share with you guys is some updates that we have for professional development training in our department. So we have some communication skills training that's coming up in May, and this really isn't your typical communication skills training in the sense that it's really tailored for what the current environment is like. So things like versatility, adaptability, handling change, interpersonal communication, conflict resolution. Those are the types of things that we'll be getting into and learning some tips and tricks and really how to polish the diamond, if you will. The next is that currently we have 24 members of our department taking the UNEX course offering called Computer Literacy. And so they're doing well with that, and we're very happy that they're able to utilize laptops and mobile learning technologies to take full advantage of this course. And then we also have some new student supervisor training in progress right now too for some members of the Commuter and Parking Services unit. And then lastly, but certainly not leastly, is the Talent Development Initiative, which has been launched just this past month, and we're very excited about that. And the team has come together, the cohort has come together and been assigned mentors, and so we're looking forward to a full year of this offering. All right. And then the next thing that I wanted to talk about is we put this in the employee resources category because it really is intended to be a resource for our staff members. So coaching conversations, they're due this Friday, the 30th. And we also are encouraging individual development plans. So we've included the hyperlink here for you so that you can click on this and just have a look at the one sheet so that you can kind of think about what you may want to accomplish as we start a new fiscal year in a few months and eventually return back to campus. So don't forget, coaching conversations are due this Friday. And the last thing that I have in terms of meat and potatoes for organizational updates before we get into some fun stuff is, not that this isn't fun, but I think you know what I mean. We have some Lean Team updates. So the FMIS Lean Team 90-day launch has been completed, and they will be presenting their accomplishments and cost savings anticipated to Michael Beck here in the next couple of weeks. We're getting that coordinated. And then we also have just recently launched this month the COVID Data Recovery Response Lean Team. So that's an intra-departmental team with members of the data analytics and strategic projects team with commuter and parking services, as well as some other campus members. And then the next thing that's coming up in terms of Lean is a launch for the Fleet and Transit unit in May, and we're looking forward to that as well. All right, and then we would like to do some employee recognition. A big shout out and round of applause to Matt Clutie. Thanks, I see Jonah on my screen, yay! Matt Clutie with Fleet and Transit, and Tim Bamuelos with Data Analytics and Strategic Projects with Commuter and Parking Services. We're so proud of you guys. Thank you so much for all that you do for our department. Such a great example and such a great contribution that you provide to us. All right, so that's it for TOD updates. And then next I'll turn it over to Lauren, who has a fun slideshow for us of some of the happenings and personal goings on in the month of April.
Thanks. Here you guys go.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. And so I'll go ahead and turn it over to Michael Summers now.
Good morning, you guys. 1 second. Good morning, everybody. I'm Michael Summers, for those of you who don't know who I am. I'll be giving the IMC updates today. To start off with, I'd like to let you guys know that the 2020 State of the Commute Report is finally done, and we'll be distributing it on Monday. Once it's available, I really do encourage everybody to take a look at it, not only because it's a different kind of report this year, but because your hard work is in it. In the report, we take a look at the pandemic and how it impacted our operations and the university overall, and how we're coming out of it stronger on the other side. With 75% of the population working and studying remotely, traffic volumes on campus dropped from 100,000 trips on a typical day to just 37,000 daily trips in 2020. The report highlights how we used Bruin ePermit to shift parking needs, supporting telecommuting and remote learning, and how we enhance cleaning and safety protocols for those who continue to work on site. Despite the challenges, new programs and services were added last year, like our Bruin Grad Pass and our graduate student bike rentals program. And new services are on the way for 2021, like affordable microtransit vans for UCLA commuters and expanded EV charging stations throughout the campus. There's really a lot to be proud of in the report. And when it comes by your way, I highly encourage everyone to take a look at it. Now that the university is gradually reopening and ramping up for fall quarter, IMC is continuing to support UCLA administration in swapping out the campus closed and stay-at-home signage with safety messaging for students, employees, and guests who are coming to campus. We currently have about 50 signs scattered throughout the campus, and in the coming weeks, we will be adding about another 20 signs. And another sign that things are returning to normal, we are beginning to ramp up student recruitment. MedCenter Valet is looking to hire upwards of 90 student employees. Commuter and parking services and transit operations are also hiring customer service representatives and transit operators, respectively. Though we're printing some physical ads, most of the recruitment campaign consists of digital and TV screen ads and social media outreach in an effort to reach out to the students who are still studying at home. If you have a student in your life or you know someone on campus that is looking for a job, please send them to our website for more information. It's springtime, and that means the Be Alert Bruin safety campaign is in full swing. This year, we're focusing on backing up safety. Since most of our commuters are still working from home, the campaign is targeting UCLA university vehicle drivers to help reduce these sorts of accidents. In conjunction with Fleet and Transit and UCLA Insurance and Risk Management, IMC has produced promo items for training sessions, A-frames, parking structure posters, vehicle hang tags, and Bruin bus laminates. We're also reaching out to our drivers through emails, social media posts, campus TV screens, and there's a lot more that we're doing. So remember, everybody, be alert. Accidents do hurt. And lastly, it's May, so it's Bike Month. And yet another sign that things are starting to return to normal. This year's Bike Month will be a hybrid of online activities and a few in-person happenings. Working with IMC, MPTS will start Bike Month with the annual Bike Recycling Day on May 6th, where registered participants can get free used bikes and bike parts. On May 20th, we will be hosting a pit stop at the Farmers Market in Westwood Village, where cyclists and fellow Bruins can pick up free bike gear and receive some handy advice from some of our cycling experts. Since we're still following safety guidelines, much of the campaign will remain online through digital and social media outreach, where we'll be sharing useful bike tips and hosting weekly social media contests with prizes. Our design team has created some fun promo items and graphics along with bike testimonials to get the word out that cycling is not only healthy and fun, but a perfect way to commute when we return to campus. The graphics team has even created a cool social media filter. I'm going to click on it right now. For our Instagram followers, if you are not a follower of us on Instagram, please join us. Here now is our very own Jimmy Tran wearing what we call an augmented reality helmet. Thank you, Vanessa, for creating the helmet, and thank you, Jimmy, for being such a great sport. So please join us, you guys, for Bike Month in May. And that is it for my IMC update. I'll pass it on to Tyler from Finance Systems and Assets.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you for that great update. Jimmy looks pretty stylish in that virtual bike helmet.
He's awesome.
I'm going to steal the screen share here. So good morning, E&T. I'm Tyler from Finance Systems and Assets, and I'd like to give you some updates from our unit this morning. But before I get started, I wanted to congratulate Renee on all of her years of service to the university and to the events and transportation. It's going to be a very exciting transition for you. So I'd like to talk a little bit first about some projects that the IT group is working on. Most importantly, they're involved in two of the important COVID-19 response projects across campus. The first is the data lake. So what is a data lake? A data lake is like a data warehouse on steroids. So it will store structured data. Structured data is data that looks like a spreadsheet. It comes in rows and columns. Data lake can also store unstructured data. Unstructured data could literally be any other kind of digital information, from PDFs and Word documents to images, videos, audio, virtually anything. So on the data lake project, the data lab team is taking the lead, and they're working with the IT group to build this repository or parking lot, basically, for different types of campus data. And they're pulling in data from all over campus, data sources that we've never used before. So there's a lot of technical challenges to overcome. So the IT group is kind of taking the lead on consolidating all the campus data sources, and the data lab team is then building reports and dashboards in Tableau to give more information to the COVID-19 task force that they can use to make better decisions for a safer return to campus this fall. Speaking of the return to campus, Fleet and Transit is taking the lead on another project to build a website to help coordinate the reopening of the campus in the fall. So Fleet and Transit is taking the lead, and the IT applications team is helping to build and enhance a SharePoint communication site to kind of help enhance the coordination and collaboration between all the different work groups on the task force. So that's another very important project that the IT group is involved in. The application team recently completed our application development roadmap, and that is a blueprint for the future of enterprise application development for events and transportation. And there's two pieces to it. So the first piece is a low-code platform. This is a really cool technology that lets IT developers and citizen developers, people from the business, to more quickly build working business applications. So there's less code and more building with low-code platforms. So we've already started to see this with the implementation of SharePoint across the department and some related Microsoft technologies. We're also taking a look at the Microsoft Power Platform. So the Power Platform is an even more robust technology that lets you build very functional business applications rapidly. So that's the first part of the roadmap. The second part is a custom platform. So the custom platform is a framework that the development team is building that's essentially a set of building blocks. So once we have the platform built, then that will allow us to more quickly build new solutions for the business, as well as rebuild legacy solutions that have kind of reached end of life and need to be replaced. So the custom platform is currently under construction right now. And once it's completed, the team will start rebuilding the AQMD survey solution for our survey next year. Moving on to the assets team. The asset team is also involved in a lot of exciting projects, kind of helping with a safe return to campus this fall. So the restrooms in Strathmore will have sensors on the sinks, toilets, and urinals to eliminate touch points in the restrooms to kind of improve safety. Likewise, with automatic paper towel dispensers, it'll just reduce the number of touch points in the restrooms. In addition, they're going to be working to install occupancy sensors. So when you use a restroom, there'll be a sensor that tells you if it's safe to enter, if there's few enough people, or if the restroom is at occupancy, you'll be asked to wait until someone leaves and then it'll be your turn. Also working to kind of redo room 130, that'll be the new home for the parking assets team. So the work, electrical work has been finished, and once ITS completes some of their action items, they'll start the painting efforts there. So that project is also coming along very quickly. And room 126, that will be our new hoteling space. So even after the return to campus in the fall, some employees will still be telecommuting indefinitely. So for those folks, when they do want to come to campus, they'll be able to reserve a workspace in room 126. And you can see the floor plan and the 3D renderings of what the room is going to look like. So it's very cool. We're very excited about this project, and painting is going to start next week. So it's fun to see all the different pieces of these projects as they come together. Also, the CRM team will be moving into room 101. So you can see it in the picture there. So there have been a few changes. The closet in a previous Vanpool orientation room was demoed to kind of create a more open space that we think will be better for the CRM team going forward. So they're looking forward to that. And the ITG help desk is going to be relocating. So the IT group will be moving out of room 190, and the help desk will be relocated to room 118A. So previously, you'd walk into the help desk area to ask for help from the IT group. Now it'll be kind of a walk-up window. So on the left side, you can see there's a window with a counter. So going forward, that's where you'll go for IT help. And those are all the updates from my side. So I will pass the baton over to Abdallah.
Thanks, Tyler. Really interesting and exciting updates going on. Looking forward to seeing them when I'm back on campus. I'm going to share my screen here and present mode. So good morning, everyone. I'm going to be presenting on behalf of MPTS today, and we'll be talking about the work we are doing in regards to the Sepulveda Pass Corridor project. So for those who don't know, this is one of the most anticipated transit projects that LA Metro is working on. It is going to connect the valley to the west side, which will finally give commuters or those traversing this corridor an alternative to the 405. It's also going to potentially connect to a host of other transit lines, including the Orange, Expo, Purple, and East San Fernando Valley Transit Corridor, which will nicely integrate it into the LA Metro system. In late 2019, Metro released its feasibility study for the project. The study identified 4 potential routes, 3 heavy rail lines, and 1 monorail between the Van Nuys Metrolink station and the Expo line. Travel times range from 16 to 26 minutes, faster than driving a comparable route on the 405 or surface streets at any times of the day and night. On the slide in front of you, you'll see that these 4 potential routes which have the daily projected trips for each associated concept, which of course are huge and offer some of the highest ridership in the entire LA Metro system. Take note that all the heavy rail concepts offer more ridership than the monorail concept. But there are 2 private proposals, one by Bechtel and one by BYD. In 2020, as part of the pre-development agreement process, several teams provided formal proposals to Metro to build the line as a public-private partnership, or P3, that would include private sector participation in building and financing the project. On the bottom, you'll see a high-level overview and timeline of the PDA process, and on the right, a concept sketch of the BYD monorail proposal, and on the left, a sketch of Bechtel's heavy rail proposal. We have been strongly advocating that for whatever solution they come up with, that it includes a station on campus. On the map, you'll see the yellow dot indicating where an on-campus location would most likely be, which is at Gateway Plaza, right adjacent to our Strathmore building offices. Another major benefit of connecting on campus would be the seamless connection of the Purple Line that would exist for the central part of campus. Our team has been working hard to influence the LA Metro Board of Directors to place a on-campus station for the Sepulveda Transit Corridor project. Excuse me. On this slide, we can see that a direct one-seat rail ride from the valley to the heart of UCLA could potentially more than halve the travel time that it takes by car through the Sepulveda Pass and into campus. Other than the obvious benefit of a reduced commute time, this would give students the ability to reside in more affordable parts of the city while not compromising easy access to campus, as most unfortunately have to do today. So in sum, the two main points that we are trying to emphasize in terms of the primary benefits of having an on-campus station for the Sepulveda Transit Corridor project are that we want to ensure a direct one-seat metro train ride to UCLA from the north that will enable more people to access our great university, its excellent health system, and top-notch cultural attractions. And we want the Sepulveda rail line to sync up, to be on campus so that it can easier sync up with the Purple Line, which will provide benefit not only to those who are coming from north and south from the valley, but also from east and west on the Purple Line. That is all from my end, and now passing it on to Chinta.
Thank you, Abdallah. Good morning, everyone. In keeping with our continual communication with campus events planner and stakeholders, the events office is involved with the drafting of the events resumption plan. The plan also has recommended guidelines for a resumption of on-campus events based on improved public health conditions and incorporating the Los Angeles County Public Health protocols for the Institute of Higher Learning. UCLA will follow the California assigned color-coded tier system based on adjusted case rate, positivity rate, and the health equity metric. It is intended to serve as a guidance document for event planners to resume academic, recreational, cultural, private, and public events. The first and most important event that we are currently coordinating is commencement, which we are now calling it the in-person recognition celebration due to the modification of the traditional program. The in-person celebration will take place on campus at the Los Angeles Tennis Center and Drake Stadium without audience. The Tennis Center will only host celebrations with the same cohort, which will be professional school and registered student groups. Drake Stadium will host the all-campus celebration where all qualified graduates for the class of 2021 may participate. Drake Stadium will provide the graduates the opportunity to join with their graduating friends on the same stage and possibly the same time. For both locations, graduates will walk across the stage and have it streamed live to be viewed by their friends and families because audience is not permitted to attend. We continue to work with other units on aspects of the registration, a virtual ticket, COVID tests and vaccination verification, and other logistical matters. The School of Dentistry will be the first in-person recognition celebration at the Tennis Center scheduled on May 15th. Most of the in-person recognition celebrations will be held from June 10th through June 13th. We have also contracted a vendor to provide a virtual platform to execute graduation ceremonies exclusively online. This is for those departments, professional school, and student groups that want to have a traditional ceremony program virtually in addition to the in-person recognition celebrations. Once we are able to have a safe gathering with audience, the university is committed to invite both the class of 2020 and the class of 2021 back to campus to have the traditional commencement they deserve and missed out on. The events office look forward to collaborating with the university administration to make this happen. Thank you, and that is the update from the events office. Up next is Diego from Commuter and Parking Services.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diego De Haro. I'll be providing you with an update on special event parking at UCLA. So as you know, UCLA parking has transitioned away from in-person transactions. Event parking will no longer have parking attendants out in the field selling parking. Instead, event parking at UCLA will offer more virtual and self-service experience for our customers. Pay station machines, Park Mobile, and the new Bruin e-permit event module will be the primary forms of purchasing parking at UCLA for an event. This improves internal data collection and knowledge base related to event parking transactions. In our last all-staff meeting, Lisa introduced the new Bruin e-permit event module, where she highlighted how event parking will be possible. Today, I will be providing you with more details on this new development, as well as walk you through the customer experience. So what is the event module? Well, for large campus events where we previously staffed parking attendants, we'll now be able to purchase event parking virtually. No more customers waiting in long lines to enter the parking structure to pay and park. The events module allows event customers the ability to purchase event parking online, anonymously, and in advance. More importantly, it uses license plate as the event permit, which increases space management efficiency and uses the same parking enforcement software and encourages data-driven decision-making when evaluating event parking policies. So what does this look like for our customers? Well, similar to faculty, student, and staff, event customers will log on to the Bruin e-permit portal. Once in the portal, customers will select the events on the top menu bar, followed by the event grouping. For example, if I'm an athletic customer, I would select UCLA events if I want to attend a sport event. Once selected, I would see all the approved athletic events and would then select the event name, or in this case, the athletic match I would like to purchase parking for. If I select UCLA men's basketball versus Arizona on Sunday, March 27th, for example, I would be able to see the parking locations. I would then see my preferred parking locations if there is more than one option. In this case, I want structure 7. I then add the parking permit to parking structure 7 into my basket and then enter my vehicle information to associate it to that event parking permit. Once the parking location and vehicle information are saved, I select the payment type and then review my order. Please note, I am doing this anonymously, which means I do not have to log in to start this transaction. At this point, I'm given the option to create a guest account in case I plan to purchase event parking in the future, or I can just continue as a guest by simply adding my email address. Once I proceed with the transaction, I'm redirected to CashNet to enter my credit card information and then brought back to the Bruin e-permit portal once my order is complete. Regardless of this being anonymous or a returning customer, I will be receiving an email confirmation of this transaction. Now, all I have to do is drive to campus, park in structure 7, and not worry about having to wait long lines to enter the parking structure. That's it from my side. Thank you all, and I'll pass it over to Alex Carranza from Fleet and Transit.
Thank you, Diego. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Again, congratulations to Renee. We're very excited for you. Thank you to our E&T staff on site for keeping operations running and ensuring a smooth transition into spring service with Bruin Bus and helping to keep the UCLA community safe. F&T operations continue to operate normally through winter. Bruin Access and Safe Ride are running via the on-demand app. The COVID mobile testing bus is continuing normal testing site location frequency, offering testing for Bruins weekly in alignment with COVID testing directives. You can visit www.studenthealth.ucla.edu/mobile testing for the schedule and more information. Face coverings are still a requirement when riding a Bruin bus. Buses continue to operate at no more than 50% capacity as an added safety precaution. Our transit supervisors are also currently working on the updated summer service plan. So F&T has continued to work on numerous projects throughout the year. There are some larger projects that are underway, and many of you have heard us skim over them throughout the monthly all-staff meetings. Now, let's take a deeper dive into one of those larger projects, telematics, giving you a better understanding of what telematics means, what it does, and how it benefits the campus community. So what is telematics? Telematics is an embedded hardware and software controlled unit placed in each university vehicle
for monitoring the vehicle performance and health. So we currently have about 335 devices installed in our fleet, and we are going to have about close to 590 completed by the end of June with the Be Smart About Safety funding that we received for this fiscal year. We intend to have equipped the remainder of the fleet by September 2021. And we want to give a very special thank you to Riley Moore and Matt Clutie and their maintenance teams for making this happen and accommodating the busy schedules of our department's facilities right now. Our techs have come in on 2 Saturdays. They're actually coming in this Saturday to decrease interruption to campus operations and to keep with our aggressive installation schedule. So what do telematics do? Telematics communicates with the vehicle's onboard computer, relaying vital vehicle information via the cloud to monitor various key components such as engine performance, excessive idling, maintenance faults, average miles per gallon, diagnostic fault code frequency, electric vehicle charging, and safety performance, among many other vehicle key performance metrics. So how does this benefit us? So we are taking the lead among universities by equipping all campus vehicles with telematics technology that is standard in the fleet industry. The data that's generated will offer a range of benefits, including optimizing preventative maintenance, reducing loss from theft and accidents, increasing safe driving, reducing vehicle idling, and improving our vehicle replacement planning. So through the implementation of telematics and the benefits it provides, we estimate campus-wide savings will be over $460,000 a year. And that's what we've got for April from F&T. Thank you.
All right, and with that, I will turn it over to Renee for the Q&A portion of this.
All right, thank you, Lauren. So a lot of questions came through about vaccination, and I just wanted to basically say that what the plan is for the mandatory vaccination depends on at least one of the vaccine manufacturers moving from provisional to actually fully approved by the FDA. So if that happens, there will be a mandatory vaccination policy for all staff, faculty, and students in order to be on campus. And the only possible exemptions are medical exemptions for a medical condition, or also religious exemptions. So those would have to go through being formally approved, and those folks who do get granted an exemption would be regularly tested. So the next question that we had that we want to answer live would be Lisa Kerbling answering the question about when valet parking would resume.
Thanks, Renee. So we are in the process of going through the operational reopening approval process through infection control at EH&S. We need to hire about 100 students before we are fully operational. Our plan at this moment is that in early June, we would begin doing some stack parking down on the P level. And then by the beginning of July, start to do valet from the Westwood portico and picking up on the P level. Then by the beginning of August, if the tents are down on the emergency side of the valet operation, to open that up. And then by the beginning of September to start stack parking staff permit holders in structure 1. So that's our plan. Hopefully it gets approved and we can hire enough students to make it operational. Thank you.
So another question that's come in is whether there are any changes being made to open office spaces. What the changes are that are being planned are changes in scheduling so that people are not 100% coming back. So for our events and transportation offices, the plans that we put together actually have less than 50% density on any given day. So even though there may not be changes to configurations, although in some areas there definitely are changes being made in configurations, there will be less dense office because of the use of telework scheduling to reduce density. I think somebody said we may want to read aloud the questions that were answered already. Is that something you could do, Lauren? To read the Q&A of the questions that have already been answered?
Sure. So yeah, if you guys are in the Q&A section, you'll see open questions and answered questions. And so Renee already provided an update on the vaccine mandate. I believe, let's see. Veronica answered a question that said, are we still required to take the weekly UCLA COVID test prior to arriving on campus if fully vaccinated? And it was on-site testing will continue until campus leaders advise it is no longer necessary.
There's one more, Lauren, which is alive. And that is, will E&T staff who can conduct most of their work remotely still be encouraged to do so in the fall to help with lowering density and sample hybrid schedule, 3 days in person? It's different unit by unit. Actually, each of our teams has a different approach based on their own needs. So for example, the IT staff are going to be mostly remote because the programmers really get the requirements already and do their work most effectively when they're not disturbed at all. So yes, we do will continue hybrid work schedules in the fall.
And another question came in about the rail.
Can Dave or Abdullah answer the question about the rail?
Yeah, so I answered in the chat, but basically there was a question asking if the green line, if there's plans for LA Metro to extend the green line past Torrance to areas like Palos Verdes, San Pedro, and Long Beach. Unfortunately, there's no plans to extend it past Torrance. There is the Torrance extension is part of Measure M funding, and that will come later, later in time. But like I said, there is no plans to extend it past Torrance. However, as I added in the chat, if someone would like to get from Long Beach to campus, we do sell LBT passes on campus for a 1-seat transit ride from UCLA to Long Beach. So be sure to take advantage of that if that is what you're interested in.
Abdullah, does that also answer the separate question that came in live just now that says, are we able to push for rail to be expanded to the South Bay? The South Bay does not have enough transit options. Is it the same answer?
I suppose so, yes. I mean, unfortunately, the Measure M, the South Bay rail options are way further down the line. That's just how the Measure M funding scheduled it. But we potentially can work with LA Metro if there's enough demand to influence decisions as we do with other rail lines.
Really, for the South Bay, it's really going to be mostly bus. You've got Long Beach Transit. Abdullah has worked with Torrance Transit, but we weren't able to cut an agreement with them before COVID. And then there's also Gardena Transit, whom had expressed interest at one point, but those two would be the only candidates to start up a commuter type service like Long Beach has. Rail's pretty far away though for the South Bay, for the 4-mile Torrance extension.
So we, I assume, can put all the answers to the questions that were answered in the Q&A on out for everyone to see, correct, Lauren?
Yeah, everyone should be able to see it right now.
Okay, I think that was all of the questions. I don't see any new ones.
All right, so if we don't have any new questions, I want to thank everybody again for being on the town hall today. And I also want to thank all of you for the pleasure I have had of working with you for some of you for many years, over 30 years for some of you. And I might be back on recall, so I might see a few of you in the future, but my last day will be June 29th. So Lisa will be providing a smooth transition for you as the search goes on for my replacement. Thank you again.
Thanks, Renee. Congratulations. Clinton, I think you had one point you wanted to make regarding the symptom surveys and the office.
Not if Renee feels that we answered all the questions. I just was making sure that we did.
Okay.
I think we're good.
All right. We will email this presentation and video recording out to E&T in a news bulletin in the next day. And thank you for attending. Bye.
Bye.